What's going on, guys? Today, I'm here to tell you about the hardly trying method that I've created because I understand fitness can be intimidating. But what I've realized over the years is that if you don't overcomplicate it, we could actually make things pretty simple and pretty easy to follow along with. So I've created a system that myself and my clients use to maintain our fitness year round with minimal effort and with minimal sacrifice. So if I were you, what I would do is grab a notebook because we're going to be diving in. There's going to be a lot of information here that you're not going to want to miss. You want to make sure you get this down. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so let's get into it. How to achieve a high-level physique in 1 year or less, guaranteed. This is for successful professionals who feel that their body doesn't match their level of success in other areas. Or honestly, guys, any of you watching this probably could benefit from this method in one way or another, because basically all we want to do here today is take fitness and take it from some daunting, intimidating task and turn it into something that genuinely feels like you're hardly trying, right? You don't need to live in the gym. You don't need to sacrifice the things that you love. I do not see myself as some fitness head, some fitness guru guy. I just like to get in shape, try to stay in shape, try to look my best, and help you guys do it too. If you guys don't already know me, my name's Albert Galszewski, and I'm going to show you today exactly how myself and my clients manage to get in better shape than they've ever been in before with very minimal effort and maintain it. That's the key. So, why am I confident in this method? Guys, I lived it, and I still do. So, as you can see here, I was not always the epitome of health or the epitome of fitness, as as you see here. Now, as some of you know, fitness didn't come easy for me. I was never like the fit guy in the community or the friend group. This was never something that I even thought I'd be doing and sitting here talking about today. It wasn't until I had a huge panic attack. I was doing electrical work at the time, and I actually asked the boss man if I could leave early. I went straight to the urgent care, driving the whole way there, freaking the fuck out on the turnpike until I got there. They ran the tests on me. We did an EKG. I could have swore there was something going on. I had pains in my chest, this, that, the other thing. And at that moment, when they told me, yo, dude, everything's good, EKG came out clean, that's when I knew that something needed to change, right? So what did I do? Knowing nothing about fitness and having no one really in my corner that could point me in the right direction, I dove in. I started researching. I started watching a ton of people on YouTube. I started trying to figure it out, doing the things that you do when you're trying to figure it out on your own, right? So it took me years of trial and error and a lot of things that I would have done differently had I known how to do this correctly. But the good news is my goal now, and what I believe is my calling, is to make fitness as easy as possible for you guys watching, so you don't have to go through all the extra steps that I did in order to get into the shape that you want to be in. So will this method work for you? The answer is more than likely yes. But does this sound right? You are, one, seeking a respectable physique. You're looking to finally achieve the body that you are fully confident in, a body that commands respect. When you walk in a room, people automatically assume that they should respect you, right? You're frustrated with the result of your effort. I know what it's like, guys, to try doing it on your own or even with someone else's help, but nothing is working, right? Look, you're not alone. This is most people, and that's why you've clicked on, that's why you're watching this video, okay? Successful and or driven in other aspects. This might be you. I get it. You work hard. You give it your all at work, at home, in your relationship, and everything that you love, but for some reason, you're falling short in the health, fitness, or looks department. I've been there, guys. I always felt like I was a pretty hard worker. I always gave it my all in whatever I did, whatever line of work I was in. I always enjoyed working towards something, but fitness was just never it for me, genuinely. However, this might be you as well. I was itching to reach my full potential. You want your body to match your success in other areas and for it to command the same respect from others that the rest of your achievements have. Look, guys, people see you with respect if you are high earning, if you work hard, if you're disciplined, or whatever it might be. However, you want that same level of respect and you want to tap into that same level of potential, I'm sure, in your fitness, in your looks, in the way that you carry yourself. Now, I'm sure you're also wise about your time and your investments. So if you're tired of wasting time, money, and energy on every new diet or workout plan just to end up in the same place, then this is for you. This could be the last stop, the finish line. I got you. Now, the last thing, if you're anything like me, you might have borderline delusional belief. Even if you might be nowhere near where you want to be, whether that be physically, mentally, or whatever else, you still believe deep down that you could achieve that dream body and that you're meant to have it. I swear, guys, when I was 260 pounds, this guy that you're looking at here or that you saw in the before and after photo is the guy that was scraping from the inside, begging to come out. Now, guys, here's really the only reasons I can think of as to why the plan wouldn't work. Maybe you have the wrong reasons, right? If you think that you could just do it to impress someone else or you're trying to prove them wrong, then you're honestly in it for the wrong reason and it's not going to last. It's going to fizzle out. However, if you're in it to prove yourself right, then you're in the right place. If you're not ready to work hard, yes, the plan is designed to make it feel almost as if you're hardly trying. That's why I called it that, right? I'm sure it's an appealing name. Who wouldn't want to get in shape without trying? However, you would be insane to think that this won't still require some level of effort and commitment. My goal is just to minimize that for you, to make it as realistic as possible. So, another thing, ego check, guys. Leave that ego at the door and adopt a proven method that was built over years of trial and error, certifications and courses to back it. I don't just talk this shit. I genuinely research it, learn it. I'm certified in it, and I like what I do, guys. So leave the ego at the door and trust in the process. The last thing, lack of self-belief. I like to say that I'll believe in you until you do. But eventually you'll need to be fully convicted and believe that you could achieve your dream outcome. Now, this is an important one, guys. Let's talk about why most people never achieve their dream body. One is improper nutrition. Most people don't understand proper nutrition. Yet they'll tell me that they try to do it on their own, that they've done it on their own. But this is the reason why, even if you've done it on your own, this is the reason why it never lasts. Proper nutrition will get you there and keep you there. That's the key. So this is especially when it comes to optimizing muscle growth and fat loss, or in other words, getting lean, getting toned, right? Ineffective training. Training without specific progression, planning, intensity, or frequency is a recipe for disaster, guys. This leads to lots of time in the gym, little to show for it. Doing things right, you could train just a few days per week. In all honesty, guys, I'm training right now probably 2 lifts per week, and I'm doing a lot of running. And if the focus was different, it would be 3 to 4 days lifting and then a little bit of cardio, depending on the goal. Conflicting lifestyle and habits. I'm not asking you to go cold turkey. As you guys know, I like a drink or two here and there. I like to eat something that I maybe shouldn't. However, imagine you think you could never sleep, never eat right, and drink like a fish and look the way you want. It just doesn't make sense. So you control it or it controls you. Trust me though, you can still have your fun, right? Otherwise, what's the point? Now, the good news is if you guys are watching this, you're already on the right track to doing things the right way and as efficiently as possible. Now look, guys, remember, you are at the mercy of your belief system, okay? So this guy that you see right here used to say, I can't look like that. I can't do it. I'm not meant for it. It's not in the cards for me, genetics, whatever you want to call it. Now, this version of me, the second that I started acting like the version that I wanted to be, I changed the verbiage. I started saying, how can I look like that? And as soon as I did, I dove into the research, I did my thing and figured out what it would take to look the way that I want to look, and then I never looked back. All I did was change the verbiage. As you can see here, I had to also convince myself I was going to have a heart attack or something if nothing changed. So as soon as I did, all of a sudden I was pretty motivated to, to make this thing happen. So guys, my message to you here is simply that you really shouldn't wait until you feel like you're going to have a serious health crisis. You should probably do it now, okay? I'd rather that for you than you wait until it gets scary and then all of a sudden you need to act quickly, right? So learn from my mistake. Get on top of this shit as early as possible. Now look, changing the verbiage, changing your belief system, this opens the door for limitless possibility. I was no longer putting myself in a box, guys. A lot of you do this and you don't even realize it. If you keep telling yourself that, that's not you, and you almost like shit on or like put down people that talk about fitness because you think that like we think we're better than you or whatever it might be, you got it wrong. We talk about this because I want you guys to see the power that fitness has for you. It could change your fucking life, right? And it just comes down to finding the answer to the question, how? The good news is you're looking at the answer. I got you guys covered. A little bit more about me, guys, if I didn't already mention it. So before I was a fitness coach, I graduated high school with plans to work my way up in electrical work. I thought I was going to get into the union for it. I thought I was going to be basically a journeyman electrician. And look, I have nothing but respect for the hard work of anybody who's working in the trades. It's great work. It's important. The backbone of this country, right? However, I just didn't see true fulfillment there for myself, right? And it wasn't what God put me here to do. So I do truly believe subconsciously that I had convinced myself that there was nothing much fun left for me since I was going directly into the workforce. I'm talking like right when I got out of high school. So while most of my buddies were going off to college to continue partying and ultimately delaying the same reality I was facing, which was getting a job and figuring it out, right? I drank like crazy in high school and worked my way up eating ridiculous amounts of food constantly. And I was kind of always just the funny fat guy doing, stupid shit to get a laugh out of everyone, even if it meant drinking in excess and regretting it soon after. Now, eventually this all caught up to me. Like I told you guys, I was 260 pounds with zero trained muscle on my body, zero confidence, zero purpose. I felt awful, guys. And looking back, like if I saw that guy today, I would honestly think that he's kind of a lost cause. It wasn't until I had that chest pain, had that panic attack, left early to go to the doctor, and just for the EKG to come out clean, that I realized it was way more than an EKG. I needed to cut the shit, and I needed to do it fast, right? Now, the only problem is I had no idea how. Luckily, I've always had a thing for relentless research. I was never a perfect student in school, but for whatever reason, like some of you guys might be able to relate, I could dive in on something that's important to me for hours on end, and I just get wrapped up in it, and I could just dive into it all day. So I'd argue that this skill might have saved my life. I was going down a really bad path, and who knows, I might have been bigger, sicker, or dead. I don't even know. So my point is, I was heading down a path that I didn't want to be on, and if it weren't for getting fitness in check, I genuinely don't know where I would be today. Now, let's talk about it. What does it take? The 3 key parts of transformation that we're going to talk about today. Training being one of them, nutrition being another, and mindset, right? Let's get into it. Here's what it comes down to for training. Put simply, 99% of you won't need to overcomplicate this, so we won't. Here's all I ask of my clients. If you could do anywhere between 2 to 4 strength training sessions per week, these could be 30 to 90 minutes each, programmed to maximize efficiency, so you could spend your time doing other things that are probably more important to you in the grand scheme of things, right? Easy cardio. Determine your preferred method of cardio. As you guys know, at the moment that I'm making this, I'm pretty big into the running, except a lot of your runs are going to be easier paced anyway. This could be walking. You could track this as steps per day or per week. In my case, with my runs, I track how many miles I'm running per week. Right? Or whatever form of cardio you like, have some way to have an idea how much cardio you're doing. Keep a log of that every day, every week, so you know how many calories you're burning additional to your overall daily energy expenditure at baseline. That's all there is to it as far as training goes. And of course, if you want to add any recovery center days like sauna, cold plunge, or massage therapy, they're a nice added bonus as well. Now, let's talk about nutrition, then we'll get into mindset a bit. So, remember guys, my goal for you is sustainability, not perfection. I'll be honest, I am not a perfect dieter by any means. So, here are the things that I think are the most important in order to keep things in check. Your protein target. If you can consistently and quickly learn to understand your protein requirement and meet it consistently, a good place for you to start is 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. This will open up so many doors for you just because of the effect that protein has in your ability to maintain muscle, to gain muscle. The thermic effect of protein means that you're going to be burning more calories simply through just the digestion of protein. So this is why you hear in the fitness space, protein, protein, protein. It's genuinely important and it's going to help a ton. If you could do one thing, it's hit that target protein out of the gate. Then we can worry about getting a little bit more advanced with calories and different macro targets. The next one being calories. Tracking your calories. Guys, working with me, this is largely taken care of for you. However, it's always good to know exactly what you're consuming daily. Remember this, a mentor of mine told me if you're not assessing, you're guessing, right? So, in other words, if you're not tracking, you're slacking. Here's what I would say on this, guys. You don't need to track your calories every day. But what I've learned through years and years and years, 5+ years now of using the same app to track my calories, I feel that once you've understood how you track your calories, the foods that you typically eat, and what they typically add up to, you're not going to need to track your calories every single day, right? But tracking your calories allows you and allows me, if you're working with me, to understand how many calories you're consuming per day and where we can make adjustments if we need to change things up in order to continue to lose weight, continue to build muscle, gain weight, whatever the goal is. Again, if you don't know, if there's no data, then there's less for you to work with. There's less for you to change because you don't know what needs to change. Let's talk about the fun stuff too. 1 cheat per week, right? We called this the hardly trying method. Imagine every single week you could have something that's off the menu. You could have a drink, you could have a cheat, whatever it might be. So this is where my clients, myself as well, have learned to love carb cycling. So I'm going to talk about that briefly. Simply put, guys, something along the lines of carb cycling essentially makes your week planned in such a way that you could technically pick a day, right, or maybe even 2 per week, where you have a little bit more leniency and you can still make notable progress each week. Imagine that instead of eating the same amount every day in order to create a caloric deficit and lose weight, you just stole a little bit from each of those days, let's call it Monday through Saturday, and each of the 100 calories that you stole over the course of those 6 days added 600 calories, right, 100 each, to your Sunday, and on the course of a week, your calorie intake is the same, right? But what happens a lot of times is we can get by for those couple of days, and then we usually want a cheat meal anyway, or a lot of people like have a social thing coming up or whatever. So all of those calories that we stole or banked for that day are just added to this one, and there is zero effect on your overall calorie intake for the week or your overall progress for the week, right? So that's just one way that we make this a whole lot simpler. Those 600 calories, in all honesty, if I'm working with you, I don't care if that's 6 Bud Lights, whatever it works, man. But let's talk about mindset. You only go as far as you believe you can go, right? We talked about this. So one big thing that helped me, and it wasn't until I did this that I changed, was acting like the person you're becoming, right? Imagine that dream version of you is already here, is already standing here, walking this earth. You're living it, right? So how does this person act? How do they eat? How do they train? And how do they think? How do they speak to themselves, right? That internal dialogue. If you do that effective today, effective immediately, just fucking click off the video. Don't actually click off. And just do that, you would be good, guys. This is the first step to moving in the correct direction. Now, fitness is lifelong. This is another important mindset thing. I did not get into the shape I wanted to be in and say, okay, done deal. Go back to eating a whole box of Pop'ems donuts and, acting like a moron. There's no finish line in this, right? It doesn't exist. However, that's not to say that you won't reach a point, which I feel that I'm at now pretty much, that I'm pretty proud of and that you're ready to maintain. Maintenance still requires some level of structure. The good news is it requires a lot less structure, right? Now, the last thing I want to talk about, you have to be in it for the right reasons. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I do think it's really important. So you got to truly care about being your best version, right? You want to be a real example to the people that matter to you the most. Believe me, they'll catch on. Not just me doing this for work and posting all about it, and I'm sure people see it, and maybe they're inspired by it, maybe they're not, maybe they think I'm a tool. But people in your family, people you care about the most, people that you love, your kids, your immediate family around you, people that see you changing, your coworkers or whatever, they're going to notice, guys. So if you're in it for those reasons and think about that you can help them, you'll be a coach to some degree, and you'll be inspiring people to change, and you might find yourself healthier and happier, your coworkers, your family, whoever it might be, in the same boat with you. All right, so this stuff really can be powerful. Now, last thing, guys. I am not special. I want to make that very clear. So if I and my clients can succeed with this method, regardless of age, genetics, or background, what the fuck makes you any different, guys? It is your turn, okay? I did not teach these guys anything different than what this guy on the left-hand side did. I'm teaching you guys exactly what it is that I do so that you can do it too, and you can experience the powerful thing that it is to take this version that you see on the left-hand side and turn it into the one that you see on the right. Guys, I'm telling you, it is way more than what you're seeing with your eyes on the screen right now. It goes way deeper than that. When you say two different people, it is not just at the level of what you see physically. This is two different people inside and out. This guy on the left, I'm talking about me, on the left-hand side, did not think he was worth anything, did not think he was meant for any more than what you see there. Just a fat kid that thought all he was cut out for was to sit around, drink, crack a joke, and nothing more. Now, I believe I was put here to help as many people make a transformation like this as humanly possible. I believe that I was put here to show you that you can do it too with minimal effort, and that you can do this easily if you have the right structure in place. So there's nothing more that I want to do than to simply give you guys the structure, the tools that you need in your toolbox to do this easily, to do it with a smile, and to maintain it for the rest of your life, guys. All right, guys, if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this video valuable. And if you want to implement the exact system that I mentioned today, that myself and my clients use, and you want to learn even more about it, then go ahead and click the link below, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or if you have my cell, reach me there, and I'd be happy to help you book a call so you could join the team.